Chapter 9 of The Cage. I stay in bed day after day, making braids for rugs. Motel receives permission to pick up the material for me from the rug factory, so I can work in bed. Label's sense of humor, his strong will to live, his wisdom keep up my morale. Hey, big sister, what happened to your smile? Is it still sleeping? Knock, knock, Mr. Smile. It's morning. Wake up, he calls. Mr. Smile, if you are lost, we'll have to search for you, so come on. Don't play hard to find. I know you were only hiding. I am waiting. He makes funny faces at me until he sees a smile on my face. We play games, tell stories, crack jokes. Our favorite game is What If? What if the war came to an end today, Label? What would be the first thing you would do? I would get a huge loaf of bread and eat until I could eat no more, and then I would never feel hungry again. We speak about Mama and the day when she will return to us, about our sisters, Mala and Chanel, and our brother, Yankel. We wonder where they are, what life is like for them in a distant, strange land away from their loved ones. They must be so lonely, and I am sure they are also wondering what is happening to us, Label. I have an idea. I'll write them daily letters and tell them about our life in the ghetto. You are so silly, Rifkel. You know there is no mail going out or coming into the ghetto, so why write? Well, if the war ends tomorrow when they come home, we will not have to tell them anything. We will just give them their mail, and it will answer all their questions. In the back of my mind, I have a different thought. What if we do not survive to answer their questions? The letters will tell them our story. I write my first letter that day to my sisters and brother far away from home. I think of Mama often. I miss her so much, Label says one day. I know when she returns she'll be disappointed and angry because we have stopped studying. Maybe you should start teaching me again, and Motel and Moshiel. You always wanted to be a teacher. Start with us. We have some books. You will be the teacher, we will be the students, and we'll have our own private school. His eyes glow with excitement. His pale face is a touch of color. We must be ready for Mama's return, for the tomorrow that is coming. The four of us talk it over that same evening. Label is right. Mama will be hurt if we do not continue our study of history, Jewish literature, the stories of Sholem Elichem, the poems and stories of I.L. Paretes, Raisin, Kolbach will become a part of our daily routine. I love the way you tell the adventures of Sholem Eilchem's motel and his brother Eli. They make me laugh, says Moshiel. I put my arms around him. It is good to hear you laugh, my dear brother. Sholem Eilchem said, laughter is good for your health. If laughter is such good medicine, let's laugh, laugh, laugh. Maybe it will even make us well. But we need much more than laughter to make us well. It does not cure tuberculosis or put calcium back into my bones. One evening, looking nervous and excited, Motel hands me a small bottle. Rifkel, before you get angry at us, please listen. This bottle contains vitamins that will make your bones strong again. They call it Vigantol. We waited a long time for them to be smuggled into the ghetto. We were lucky. They are impossible to get. Please don't be mad. We love you. We need you. I stare at the little bottle in my hand for a while. How did you pay for it, Motel? Look at me. How did you pay for it? Well, he stammers. We could not ask your permission. You would have said no, but we talked it over, he adds quickly. We all agreed. We sold our bread ration for the week. It will be all right. You'll see. You'll see. Label and Moshi echo. We will be all right, Rifkel. Please don't be mad. Please. This better make me well, you crazy kids. I try to sound tough, taking the dropper filled with vitamins. Raising it high, I say, L'chaim, to life. L'chaim, they reply in one happy voice. I show improvement. The selling of our bread for vitamins is repeated. Holding onto the walls and furniture, I start to move about in the house. Chapter 10. One day, a social worker from the Ghetto Child Welfare Department comes to see us. She looks around the house and asks questions while carefully studying each of us. Finally, with warmth and compassion in her voice, she states the reason for her visit. It has been reported that we, 4 young children, live alone, without adult supervision. We cannot allow this to continue, and we must find proper homes for all of you. We have many families who lost their children. They'll be happy to have a child in their home to fill the emptiness in their hearts. We will even find a home for Label. She speaks softly, slowly, as if trying to lessen the horrible blow of her words. I look at her gentle face, her kind eyes, her slight build, and wonder how this fragile-looking woman has the strength to utter such words. How can she carry the burden of separating a family? I look at Label, and Mama's pleading eyes are before me. I hear a voice within me crying, "A mother does not give up her children. A mother does not give up her children." I look at her, and the anger rises in my voice. "Don't try to break our hearts again. You will not separate us. Please leave us alone." She does not leave us alone. She comes again and again, bringing vitamins for me, an egg for Label, bread for all of us. And always, she brings the same horrible word from her supervisors, adoption. I beg for her to forget us, to let us have what little happiness we have. Finally, I refuse to let her in. "Rifkel, you know you cannot fight them much longer. We are helpless against them. They will have their way in the end," says Motel. I am not sure anymore. Am I right to fight adoption? Maybe they would be better off, find good homes, be happy. Is it wrong to want to hold our family together? Does my love for them give me the right to decide what is best for them? Do I know what is best for them? One day, a special messenger brings summons, ordering each of us to appear at the Child Welfare Department. We have no choice but to go. Label stays home. His body is consumed by tuberculosis, but his mind is clear and sharp. He wishes us luck, following us sadly with his eyes. We walk, Motel, Moshel, and I, holding hands without saying a word. My weak legs move very slowly. In the Child Welfare Department, we are taken to separate rooms. I wait, my heart pounding violently, my eyes fixed on the door. It opens, and a young woman walks in. I know who she is. Miss Walkona, the head of the Child Welfare Department. She looks silently at me. I study her face, calm and serious. Does this mean her decision is made? Will she listen to me? "I suppose you know what I called you about. Your case has been pointed out to me, and I wanted to meet you. You look to me intelligent enough to understand we mean well. We want to help you. We know what is best for you and your brothers. We will find good homes for Motel and Moshel. I am willing to adopt you. I know more about you than you think." She pauses for a moment. "And Label will go to a home for children." "Home for children," I repeat with a trembling voice. "That means he'll be with the first new victims for the Nazi transports. Is that why Mama sacrificed her life? So Label should be sent to a home to wait for deportation? Is that what you were asking me to do? Send him willingly to his death? Good homes for my brothers? A good home for me? Do you think a little more bread, an extra piece of meat will take the place of brotherly love? Give us the warmth of our home? Our house is empty without Mama, but our hearts are not. The love for one another that she planted there will always be with us. We can only be happy together. Please do not destroy us. Leave us alone, please." My tears give way, pour freely over my face. She puts her hand on my head. I see the tears in her eyes. With quivering lips, she places a soft kiss on my hair. Without saying a word, she leaves the room. I wait outside for the boys. Motiel comes out first, his eyes burning with anger. Then Moshel, his face pale, frightened. He takes my hand in his, holds it tightly. "I do not want to leave our home. Do you think they can force me?" Motel looks at me. We know that we cannot stop them. We walk in silence for a while, then Motel breaks the silence. "I told them we did not come for help. All we want is to be left alone. Is that too much to ask? I will not leave, no matter what they do." Label has waited in fearful anticipation for our return. He looks carefully at each of us, trying to read the verdict from our faces. Then a smile covers his delicate face. "I knew we would not give up," he says with pride. We live in a state of waiting and wondering. Are these our last days together? Is there a tomorrow for us? The agony is on our faces, but we do not speak about it. There is nothing left to say. Every knock at our door makes our heart stop beating. Are they coming for us? And then one day I am called into the Child Welfare Department alone. Slowly, I open the door to the same office as before. Our social worker is at her desk. She runs towards me and throws her arms around me, shouting with joy, "Good news, my child! Good news!" I look at her, dazed. She pulls me over to her desk and points at some papers. "You know what these papers are?" Her voice is jubilant, elated. "They are your adoption papers!" I see my whole world crumble before me. "Oh no," she says quickly, putting her arms around me to hold me up. "It is not what you think. We had a special session about your case. We decided to make an exception to our rules, seeing the love and devotion you have for one another. We feel that you all deserve to keep what you have. You are going to be the only 16-year-old to be a legal guardian of younger children. That means you are adopting your own brothers. At the same time, I must point this out before you sign. You are losing the rights of a child. Today, you become an adult." For a moment, I just stand there, overwhelmed. It has happened. Our dream has come true. We are not being separated. We have one another. We have our home. We are still a family. I grab her hands, hug them tightly, whispering, "Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you." That day, for the first time in weeks, we breathed freely. The four of us cuddled together on Label's bed, full of joy, forgetting for a moment that we are still in the ghetto cage. Chapter 11. Motel and Moshel make their daily trip to work. Their school is the tailor shop, their books the sewing machine, their lesson the making of German military uniforms. I look at their tired blue eyes and try to recall their smiles, the gleam in Moshel's eyes, always full of mischief. It was so long, long ago. I look at Motel. He looks much older than his 15 years. His eyes are the eyes of an old man who has seen all the misery of life but will not give up fighting for a better tomorrow. His voice is strong, mature, serious. I wonder at the changes. Oh, I apologize, my book's kind of cut off here. That main us all. We are so old. I spend many hours sitting on Label's bed, reading to him, talking, playing games. I wonder if the free world, outside our cage, is still the same, Riva. Do people outside the ghetto live a normal life? Do they go to schools? To shows? Do they ever feel hungry? Riva, do you think, is it possible, that the great big world has forgotten about us? Does anybody care? Sometimes I wonder, Riva. I put my fingers on his mouth. Such doubt. And from him. Label, don't you start with such silly thoughts. You are the strongest among us. You keep up the morale in this house. I do not want to hear such words. Not from your lips. I am sure the world outside this cage remembers us. They will come to our rescue soon, very soon. A faint grin covers his tired face. From your mouth to God's ears, if God has not forgotten us. I look at my sweet little brother, slowly fading away, and I, too, wonder. A sudden knock at the door echoes through the house, startling both of us. We hold our breath and wait. I left the door unlocked for Mrs. Avner to come in, but she would not knock. We hold hands, silently praying. From Label's bed, the front door is out of sight, but we can hear it being opened. Footsteps. Someone is slowly moving about in the kitchen. My heart stops. Is it the end for us? Are the Nazis searching for the sick again? What do I do with Label? I cannot hide him now. Our cellar is in the kitchen. I must not panic. Sit still. Wait. Hope. A mournful lament breaks the deadly silence, fills the house with its grief, sends chills down my spine. There is no one left of my family. There is no one left of my friends. They are all gone. All gone. There is something familiar about that voice. I make my way slowly towards the kitchen door. I hear the voice again, but now it is the hoarse whisper of a broken man. They are all gone. All dead. My God, it is Schmulek's voice. Our neighbor. Our friend. I stop short. It can't be. He left a year ago as a volunteer for a labor camp. They assured him that he was helping his family, but they were all deported a short while after he left. His mother, his brothers, his sisters. They are all gone. He made his sacrifice, but it did not help them survive. It cannot be Schmulek. No one ever returns from a labor camp. Cautiously, slowly, I peek through the kitchen door. I see the figure of a man, his head bowed, his feet dragging heavily towards the door. He is leaving. I stare at the black curly hair, the broad shoulders. It is Schmulek. I want to run to him, but stay frozen. I want to call out to him, but stay speechless, choked up, paralyzed. From deep inside me, an agonizing cry finally tears out. Schmulek, we are still here. Schmulek, we are still alive. He turns towards me. He stares at my face. He touches my hair, my eyes. Riva? Riva? You are real? You are alive? It is not a dream? I thought there was no one left anymore. We fall into each other's arms. Chapter 12. I am sure you are all eager to hear what I am doing here. I am searching for my family. I was so sure that they were all here waiting for me, for the day I would come home. He stops, takes a deep breath, swallows hard. The four of us wait silently. In the labor camp there were Jews and non-Jews from ghettos and prisons. They were sent there to build good roads for the German army to travel on. We worked very, very hard. The days were long and lonely. I felt the hunger, the hard work, the hardship was all worthwhile. I was helping my family to survive. The commandant kept announcing that our hard work helped the people we left behind. The harder you work here, the more food your family receives. And we believed him. I became a model slave laborer, worked with all my strength. Last night, 5 of us were suddenly called to the commandant. We were all scared. You are being sent back to the ghetto, Lauds, to your families. This is your reward for being such good workers. We all stood there, frozen. No one was ever sent back to the ghetto. Was this some kind of excuse to keep us calm before they executed us? In front of the commandant's office, there was a horse and wagon, ready and waiting. 3 guards sat on the wagon, rifles pointed at us. Get into the wagon, fast, before I change my mind, the commandant ordered. We got into the wagon, wondering all along the way where we were really going. To our surprise, they did bring us here, back to the ghetto. They had the ghetto guards open the gates, shove us forward, and close the gates again behind us. I ran all the way here. I am home, I shouted. I am going to see my mother, my sisters, my brothers again. I could feel my mother's arms around me. He swallowed hard again. Look what I found. All gone. My family is all gone. Silence. Silence. Such painful silence. Tell me, Schmulek says. Tell me of my family. How did they look when they were sent away? Were they healthy? All the men at the labor camp were young, still strong enough to work. There were no women in that camp. They may have camps where the women work. Maybe my sisters. They are young. But my mother, what kind of work can my mother do? Where did they take her? I have nothing without them. Tomorrow I'll ask to be sent back to slave labor. Maybe they will send me to the same camp. Maybe I will find them. We all feel his agony, his hope. Maybe if I had stayed there, if I had not left them alone, maybe they would still be here. It is my fault. I signed up for slave labor. I believed what I was told. My family was to get more food, a pension to help them survive. I was so sure that I was helping them. I did it all for... Schmulek! Motel cuts in sharply. Schmulek, stop this. You did what you had to do to help your family. For a while, they did get a pension. They did receive a little more in their food rations. Your mother missed you. She cried a lot, but she was also very proud of you. You left your home to help people you loved. You made a huge sacrifice. You cannot blame yourself, Schmulek. We all know that when they need new people to be sent out to the ghetto, they always find a reason for the new lists. Schmulek, his voice wavers. Schmulek, they made new lists every day. Who knows whose name will be next on the list? Who knows what tomorrow will bring? Moshiel puts his arms on Schmulek's shoulders. We are happy to see you alive, Schmulek. Welcome back. Stay with us. Yes, stay with us, Motel and Label echo. Stay here. I feel myself blush. Yes, Schmulek has to be a part of our family now, but he cannot sleep here with us. All eyes turn towards me. I look at Schmulek, searching for the right words. Schmulek, I'm not sending you away. I only want you to sleep next door at my friend Henry's house. It may sound very silly to you, but I still care what people will say. You are a young man of 20, and I, a young lady of 16. They will gossip. Do you understand? I hope you do. I study his handsome face closely. With his dark eyes, black curly hair, and dark complexion, he looks like a movie star who is playing a part in which he is trying to rescue his loved ones and take them to freedom. Gently, he takes my hand in his. He looks at me as if he's seeing me for the first time. A grin slowly covers his face, and there is a twinkle in his eyes. I understand, he says softly. Henry is a very nice young man. I feel more composed now. We went to school together. When Mrs. Grubber, our landlady, moved to the nicest part of Lodz as a Volkendusch, his family and 2 other families all moved in together in Mrs. Gruber's 2-room apartment. There were 8 of them. Henry, his mother and father, a couple with a small baby, and a very young pair of newlyweds. They lived together as one large family. Then Henry's mother died of tuberculosis. His father did not last very long afterwards. He just faded away. The baby was taken away by the Nazis, and the mother lost her mind. They took her away. The father left on his own for the slave labor camps. He had nothing left. The other couple could not stand living in this house anymore. They had all been such close friends. Now, Henry has the apartment to himself. I'm sure he will be glad to have another human being in that lonely, empty apartment. Motel goes to call Henry. He comes, a tall, skinny young man of 17 with earnest, somber eyes, and looks at Schmulek from behind his heavy glasses with sympathy and warmth. They shake hands, exchange greetings, and leave together. I sit down to write a letter. Dear Mama, I'm not sure that I did right, sending Schmulek, who is all alone now, to the home of a stranger. I know some people feel the moral codes we grew up with have no meaning anymore. There may not be any tomorrow, but I cannot feel that way, even if there is no tomorrow. I still care what people think, and I still feel I have to do what I think is right. I miss you so very, very much. I need you. I need your love. When you come home, when Mala, Chanel, and Yankel come back home, I do not want any of you to be ashamed of me. Your loving daughter, Rivkil. I put the letter in the drawer, together with all the other letters never to be mailed.